What value do Indian students bring to Miami Herbert's classrooms and campus?
So, Indian students are a huge part of our community. If you think more broadly, we want our communities to represent what the world has to offer. India is the world's largest country, so we want a lot of Indian students in our classroom. What they also bring is a strong analytical focus to their decision processes, to their thinking processes. This adds a lot of value to our class. They also bring with them very good computer skills, be it in Excel, be it with databases, be it with coding. This adds tremendous value, especially in our analytics and STEM-centered programs. So it's wonderful to have them. It adds to the diversity of our fabric. It adds to the diversity of our school. So we welcome Indian students from that standpoint.
Why is it important for Indian students to strongly consider the right fit master's program for them at Miami Herbert? For example, is it an MSF they want or an MBA with a finance focus, etc.?
It's important for students to understand what their passion is and then pursue a path that aligns with their passion. When you start this process of discovery, even at the undergraduate level, you might start off thinking, I want to do analytics, but then later on realize that some of the softer aspects of managing in businesses is what attracts you. So depending upon what students' interests are, they can pick one of the many options that we have. Now, one of the advantages with our curriculum is that we have a vast array of STEM certified masters, be it masters in sustainable business, masters in business analytics, finance, accounting, tax, the list goes on. So it gives them the choice that they need in order to pursue their passion and then be successful. Because ultimately, if you don't marry your choice with the passion that you have, it's hard to be successful in your career. So that's really what we're after ultimately.
Thank you, Hari. And my next question is, why should an Indian student choose Miami Herbert as a business school? Could you please tell us what it means to be a high ROI school and how would that benefit an Indian student?
So why should an Indian student choose our school? Let me start off by saying Miami Herbert Business School is a school that's rising in stature, it's rising in reputation. We are also located at a place that is actually growing, and both in terms of industry, both in terms of international significance. So you're part of an ecosystem that's on the rise. The way I see it, it's not just important to pick the right school, but you have to pick the right school at the right place. Now, if you go back to this idea of the school itself, we have top-notch faculty who are amongst the best in terms of scholarly productivity and in terms of bringing that productivity into the classroom. We have very carefully curated programs that bring not only the theory that you need in order to be successful and develop the right foundations, but also to bridge the theory with practice. Every single program that we have links in terms of experiential learning to practice, making sure that our graduates are ready for the marketplace when in fact they graduate. And lastly, our placement record is quite enviable. We've been very successful in placing our students in industry, and that's definitely one way of guaranteeing the return on investment for our Indian students.
Can you please tell us why an Indian student might choose Miami Herbert over other comparable business schools, and what would they get here that no other school can offer?
So I don't want to cast aspersions on my competition here. So look, there are lots of good universities in the US, but I think what Miami offers that is unique is to be part of something that is going to be extremely good and large and grand in the near future. What the city offers, there is literally no other city that offers what Miami offers in the US. So not only are you getting a top-notch education, but you're getting it in an incredible city that has values that are important to Indians. So if you think about Miami, Miami is one of the biggest melting points Every alternate person that you see on the road actually is from some other country. So there's incredible diversity. This is something that our Indian students are very used to. You drive 200 miles in India and you go to a new state with a new language and an entirely new cuisine. So you bring the same level of diversity here in your graduate education as well. So I can't think of a better fit for Indian students than Miami Herbert Business School.
Miami and Florida saw multiple finance and tech firms flock here during the pandemic. Can you tell us what it is like now and what outlook is projected for the next few years? Is Florida still a hot finance and tech hub?
Florida is still a vibrant finance and tech hub. Increasingly, you see that there's a lot of possibilities for work from home, making places that have higher quality of living very attractive. Miami has been the beneficiary of this. We've seen lots of Silicon Valley companies move over here or set up operations here. We've seen lots of financial services firms, both from New York and from Chicago, move over here. We just recently saw Ken Griffin move Citadel down here. These are massive companies that underpin the global financial services infrastructure that have moved to Miami. So the boom continues in Miami. There's plenty of opportunity for hardworking students who are committed to working hard and committed to being successful.
Can you please tell us what the internship and job opportunities are looking like specifically for Indian students?
So the internship and job opportunities, as I said before, there are plenty of opportunities that are available. As always, I don't want to sugarcoat this. This is largely dependent on the student and the effort that they are willing to put in. International students in general have to walk the extra mile in order to be able to get these internships. But what we have is a fabulous career team that is ready and prepared to aid these students, Indian students, and more broadly international students in their career journeys. We have the infrastructure that is set up, so all a student would have to do is simply come and follow the process that has been laid out. Now, one of the unique features we have at Miami Herbert Business School is that every master's program has a built-in career class for credit, where you actually get to meet your own career coach. They guide you through the process of preparing a resume, getting active on LinkedIn, how to write a cover letter, the entire process, all the way up to mock interviews and salary negotiations are covered in that class. So every graduate is well equipped to handle the job market. So that's a huge advantage that we offer to our graduate students.
What kind of student succeeds at the Miami Herbert Business School?
The biggest and most important factor in my mind, look, at this level, everyone who's coming in has a certain level of intellect, has a certain level of capacity. What really defines the best in class is the amount of grit and resilience people bring to the table. The grittier you are, the greater your ability to be able to stand up every time you fall down. And ultimately, this is all about persisting and being dogged in your pursuit of your goal, which is to achieve your career dreams. And that's the kind of student that we want, someone who's gritty, who's willing to continuously and persistently work hard.
Hari, could you please tell us about your own decision to come to the United States as a student from India? And what advice would you give to a student from India who is considering a master's in the United States?
This is a very interesting question. I wish I could tell you that I had this carefully formulated plan of what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I actually came to the US to become a management consultant. It is a path that is different from what many of my peers took. I went to an engineering school, so the natural path at the time at least was to go pursue a master's in engineering. But I had found some coursework and I had some interest in pursuing management consulting, so that's why I started. But once I got to my graduate program, I realized that I was truly fascinated both by teaching and by the research that goes on in this area of operations research. So that brought me to this career as a professor. So while I'd like to tell you that I had this carefully constructed plan and I went on the straight and narrow and executed the plan, it's really been a series of low probability events that have all been very favorable and kind to me.
Last two questions for you, Hari. What are some of the ways you would make sure Indian students feel at home on campus here?
So, feeling at home is really based on this idea of giving people a sense of belonging. If you look at it, you want people to feel comfortable where they are. We have a large number of Indian faculty on the roster, so that helps knowing that you can actually talk to someone here who's been here for a little longer and has experience. We have a significant number of Indian students on campus, not just at the Miami Herbert Business School, but elsewhere on campus at the University of Miami. So it helps that we have a little bit of a community. As a city, Miami offers plenty of opportunities for Indians to sample Indian food at a restaurant. There are lots of cultural events, so there's plenty of places to go to for Holi, for Diwali, for Pongal. So there's lots of cultural activities also that come along with the city, and that makes it very, very attractive for Indian students to feel comfortable, to feel at home. At Miami Herbert Business School, we also put together events to support our Indian students, so that helps the cause as well.
What's the one thing an Indian student headed to Miami Herbert next year should definitely do, either on campus, in Miami, or in Florida?
One thing. I think it's hard to come up with one single thing to do. On campus, I think one of the fascinating things that I've done is actually watch a football game. When I came to this country, I didn't know anything about American football, but my American friends were kind enough to take me in and teach me the ropes of the game. I've since become a big fan of the game, and to experience a top-notch program like the University of Miami Hurricanes on the field is something that's truly, truly special. So that's definitely something that they should do while they're here on campus. We have a fabulous basketball team and a baseball team as well. Both of them play on campus, which makes it a lot more accessible for our students to go watch those games. As the city has plenty to offer and it's hard to choose, if you're a beach person, then there's of course, Biscayne Bay has plenty to offer. There's diving, snorkeling, jet skiing, whatever you want to do in terms of water sports is ready on offer. Culturally, the city has a lot of museums and fabulous art. Miami is actually known for a lot of street art, so Wynwood walls feature a lot of the street art that we have on campus, so that would be a great thing to sample. For those of you who have more of a culinary interest, there's amazing food here in Miami. Every restaurant that you can't get to in New York because the lines are too long, you actually can get access to here in Miami. So that's a huge advantage to have. So there's a thriving foodie scene here in Miami for those who are so inclined. So lots of things to do.